Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to Perafilozof's Banished Let's Plays. I would like to present you with another city that I have made while I was on the weekend with my parents. I had the access to one of my old PCs on which Banished worked. Well, it worked, let's not go beyond that. In any event, I wanted to build this city on a regularly flat map, and this map provided me with a lot of flat ground because I would like to make a city that is going to use orchards to get itself going. In this particular city, this particular village, I had started with gathering and some hunters, but when I finally managed to get a seed, it was a chestnut seed. I had sold a lot of firewood and some iron tools to get it, and actually it was a walnut, excuse me, a walnut seed that I want to have orchards of throughout this village and some other orchards as well if I manage to buy those seeds. Now I will present you with a simple choice. Would you like me to continue playing in the city and doing let's plays of it, or would you like me to restart this map seed and show you how I got this far play by play? That I will leave up to you. So let's go back to Pearland, our fishing village. In the previous video I had a big problem with tools. I was running low on tools because I had taken a long time to build a mine and I had picked up almost all the iron that could be found, at least close enough that it would be even any point to pick it up. So instead of chasing after all the iron at the edges of the map, I decided to actually create a mine that was going to mine iron. Now the question is, can this one blacksmith stem the tide of these lacking tools that are up to 51 out of 80 adults, or do I need another blacksmith? Now I do have the iron, I do have the logs, but can this guy produce these iron tools fast enough to replace all the broken ones? Or do I need another blacksmith? Since this mine is already over here, I would then again build a blacksmith here for the easy access to more iron. Now I would like to leave this at 5 speed for a while and see whether I'm going to be losing more tools or are more villagers gonna get tools. If more villagers end up with tools, then that means that one blacksmith is going to be able to bring the situation back under control. If I end up with more villagers out of tools, then that means that I need another blacksmith. In other news, I got a school going, but I don't have any children that are at the right age to start going to school, so I'm guessing all the new children that get to the appropriate age will start going to the school. I do have a teacher, he is now wasting time sitting there doing nothing, but I do have 80 villagers, so that's not too bad. I had started building this new fishing dock and a new storage barn to house that fishing products when it is fished out of the lake. I do need some more housing here, and I do plan on developing this part with another forester, gatherer, herbalist, and maybe even a hunter right here for this area over here. As for the other fishing, well, that's gonna happen on this, I don't know, is it a lake, a delta, I'm not sure how to even call this geographically, but in any event there is a lot of places that we could have another 3 or 4 at least fishermen, and since this is a fishing village, I like to have as many villagers being fishermen as possible. Now I had reduced the number of fishermen almost on each of these fishing docks because I saw a problem with their productivity. Now it could be down to several factors. First factor, of course, not having enough tools, and the second factor being a long way to go and put the fish at once they fished it. Now that's why I'm building this new storage barn down here, but that still means that, for example, this fisherman and this one, actually that one is close, this one and this one have a long way to go to the storage barn and leave the fish, which wastes a lot of time that they could spend fishing. So once I finish this storage barn, and if I see my tool situation getting better, I could see an increase in their production. If not, then obviously I will need a second blacksmith to get the tools, and if their production is still low, I will leave them at fewer workers than the maximum. But If they're not producing the food, I need somebody who can. The gatherers are up here, one of them at least, and he does produce a lot of food. The other one is over here someplace, yep, here it is, and he does produce a lot of food as well. So another gatherer, hunter, forester, and maybe even a herbalist can be placed down here. Let's see just how much room do they have to be placed there. Let's see, first the forester. Well, here in the middle he does have this hill that's gonna waste a lot of space, so maybe better onto one of these sides. Again, these sides aren't very useful either, considering how much space does this mountain take up. But I guess since I'm going to have the fisherman over here, it would be better to go into this side. So something like this would be the forester. Then I would have the gatherer right next to him, and maybe even the hunter, since there does seem to be game available here. This is soon to be finished, and the only building that I have under construction is the storage barn, so I can start the construction of this next one, forester. Like I said, it should go about here. Now, even though this part here might not have trees at the moment, I think that the forester can plant trees all the way up to the edges of the mountain. But that's not totally confirmed, so we shall have to see exactly am I correct in this assumption or not. A forester in there. I should see how the road is gonna be getting to him. To here it seems. Seems to be a little hill over here. Now a gatherer right across him. How's the tool situation? Well, now there are 48 villagers without tools, so it seems that one blacksmith is gonna be able to bring this tool situation under control. Only problem is it might take a bit longer. 45, well, maybe not that long. I'm guessing the tools that are brand new won't break for a while. The tools that are making this number go up are probably the old tools that keep breaking while I'm making new tools. So it seems that this situation could be stabilized with just one blacksmith. But undoubtedly, as my number of adults grows, I am going to need another blacksmith most likely. Now, where was I? This was Z, this part of the city was X, and this part was C. Forester's lodge and the gatherer's hut have started to being worked on, so those might get built soon. But I need more housing here for the workers that are going to be working here. Now I do have a little bit of stone, so a stone house can be built. But I do not have a whole lot of stone, and another stone house would already stretch my resources. But I do seem to see a lot of stone here, so stone might not actually be a problem. Whoa, yeah, that's a lot of stone to be collected, and I should probably make, this is something I should have probably made a while ago, a stockpile that's gonna stockpile the stone, wood, and probably some iron that can be collected here. Let's see, is there any iron here? A few rocks here and there of iron, nothing too much. Now, I've seen some people write that the increased priority tool works by making the priority of a building go up one number at a time. So for example, if you have 5 buildings placed for constructions, you'd have to go over one building, if it was the last building, 4 times like this, for it to be the one that's gonna have the highest priority. I'm not sure, does that really compute, and is that really true? Because you can't really see it, you would have to actually test it. Now I do need some more builders and laborers, but the school is going to slow down the children that are gonna be becoming adults. This because if they are at the school, they take longer to become adults. I'm not sure exactly the age. I think I saw one of my subscribers say it might be even late as 22 years old once he comes out of the school and becomes an actual adult. And that means he spends 12 years in the school instead of being an adult. And that's 12 years of additional food for him that's gonna have to be created by other villagers. I'm starting to lose some villagers from the old age. Those were probably my first generation. Yeah, some of them are at 80. These guys here are 20. They probably taking over a home where my first generation has died. So now some of these homes are gonna be freed up for the new generation as the old one dies. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 homes, 5 homes that are gonna be freed up as the old generation hits the bucket, if that's the correct expression. Now I have just pretty much managed to run out of food. Hopefully this gatherer here is going to fix this problem. Now the tools are still at 48, and that means that one single blacksmith is still not managing to produce enough tools. Which obviously means that I will definitely need a new blacksmith. And I do have a lot of construction up and running at the moment, so building a new blacksmith may take a long time, or it may be that that priority actually works and I can push for the blacksmith to be built first. Let's try it out. F2, 6 for increased priority. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times for the increased priority on the blacksmith. Now he should definitely be the first one on the priority list. The question is, will this accomplish much, or is he going to have to wait for a long time to be built? Because I do still have 3 buildings here that require building: house, forester's lodge, and the gatherer's hut. Although the forester's lodge is almost finished. And I do have also a lot of stone here and iron that I have designated for pickup, which means that my laborers might be spending a lot of time picking this stuff instead of getting new resources for the building of these buildings. Although the blacksmith is progressing very nice. It already almost has all the logs and it has some stone as well. So it could be that there is something with this increased priority that is very true. I had another death. Yeah, this quarry is a death trap for my villagers. I think I've lost maybe 3 or 4 already at the quarry, and that's not very good. It is possible that by becoming students instead of just being adults at 10 and being adults at 22 but educated, they might not be crushed by a rock so often at the quarry. The blacksmith has all the stone, all the logs, and just needs the iron, which is spent by this blacksmith, so it may take a while to build this additional blacksmith. I don't really have a lot of iron except the one down here to be picked up, but I do not have the laborers because so many of my villagers have died. Foresters. Well, if I go up with foresters, the number of laborers is gonna go down to 0. So I'm gonna definitely have to reduce somebody. But reduce who? More fishermen? I'm already low with food. But considering how little food they produce, I might as well close this fishery down to just 1 villager. This one also drop the number. This one over here. terrible numbers. This one over here. Terrible numbers. Can definitely reduce the number of fishermen and have more laborers to get to the foresters and more laborers and builders to finish these buildings. Now I know that I'm going to probably lose even more food because of these fisheries not working properly, but I need these buildings finished. The blacksmith is very close to being finished. That's excellent because the tools are very low still, 48, so no, the one blacksmith cannot fight this much of a backlog in tools. This is also progressing. This gatherer should be able to save me from starvation. Come on, builders. Gonna pause the house in case they start wasting time building it instead of the gatherer's hut and the blacksmith. I already have starvation icons, which is very, very, very bad. How much food are my hunters producing? 480 and 640. Might even drop one of the hunters. Didn't I have a second hunter in here? No, I was always at just one hunter. Must have been my other city that has 2 hunters. More starvation signs. This is very bad. So it's like a domino effect. You run out of tools, your productivity goes down, you run out of food, you start starving. The only thing that I do have is the firewood. Is the blacksmith done already? Not yet. I really hope I don't get down to starvation, because I've already lost a lot of villagers down to old age, and if I were to start losing them because of starvation, I would lose a lot of villagers at once, and that would spell disaster. Come on guys, I need a gatherer pronto. More builders, more builders. Blacksmith, builders, builders, blacksmith, gatherer, come on. I could have taken more of them from... Oh, died of starvation. Oh man. God damn it. Did not need that to happen. Did not need that to happen. Yeah, a pure domino effect. And did I had to mention firewood. Now I am running low on firewood and have some villagers that are cold. A full-blown domino effect. Was that another starvation? Another starvation? Oh, dear God. It just keeps getting worse and worse. Need to reduce the number of miners. Another starvation? Oh, bad, very bad. Reducing the number of miners and stonecutters. Another starving. Oh, this hurts. This really hurts. Can you guys not finish the gatherer's hut? This hurts. This hurts a lot. And more died to starvation, and more. And now some more. Yep, a chain effect. That lack of tools seems to have killed me. Died of starvation, died of starvation, died of starvation, died of starvation, died of starvation. It's not even funny anymore. Well, I don't know what to tell you. One mistake, and that was all it took. Oh, come on, seriously, can't you guys finish the Gatherer's Hut already? They're probably wasting all the time gathering more resources instead of finishing the Gatherer's Hut. Well, I don't really have to worry about food now, since I went from 80 villagers down to 56. And I doubt I won't lose more by the time this is done. Wait, 56? And now I have 68, so all my students graduated at the same time. Oh, that was funny. That was pretty funny. Died of starvation, more of them died of starvation. Can put back some miners. I do need... Oh, come on, why can't you finish the Gatherer's Hut? That is so not cool. Not even funny anymore. Why won't you finish the Gatherer's Hut? Okay, stop doing that if that's your problem, although I don't know why that should be your problem, and that's the job for the laborers, and the builders are supposed to finish the gatherers, which I have 7 of, and they just have to finish it. Oh, finally. About damn time, although it's pretty late now because I've already lost too many villagers. I mean, I haven't lost too many to keep going, but this is gonna send me back at least 10 years. Far too many have died of starvation. Well, I can look at it on the bright side. I don't need that many housing anymore. As if that was actually a silver lining. Out of laborers. Oh, brother. Oh, I can increase the number of fishermen now since I am better at tools. Maybe they can turn up some fish and save the rest of my village. Although I'm not sure that this can even be saved at this point, because it's just this chain effect that keeps happening. Even any food that's actually turned up by my gatherers, there's just not enough of it to supply the population now. Yeah. They just keep dying. What am I at? 47? Wow, I lost 20 in a matter of minutes? Wow. Is all I'm gonna say. Just wow. More fishermen, less foresters. No use having a herbalist now. Gatherers are maxed out, fishermen close to maxed out, hunters are maxed out. The blacksmiths are making tools, but now it's a little too late. Well, what can I tell you guys? This was pretty harsh. Lost half of my population down to starvation, and I seem to still be losing them. That sucks. I have stopped mining, stopped stone cutting, just focusing on food. Although I doubt that's gonna do much, because there seems to be this issue of a chain effect that just does not stop. As you can see, I'm still losing people down to starvation. I have just pretty much run out of anybody to take away from non-necessary jobs. Maybe some foresters, a woodcutter. to get more fishermen, but this is pretty bad. I lost a teacher? Did I now? Well, not much point in a teacher now. Or do I have a free job position somewhere? Well, I really don't need two blacksmiths now. One is gonna do the job, so why not? Let's get a teacher. And there is still a lack of food that doesn't seem to quit happening, even though I'm down to half my population and pretty much almost everybody works in food production. There still doesn't seem to be enough food for me. I have noticed this in quite a lot of people's Let's Plays, that it's like the food disappears even though it's generated a whole lot of it. Or is it generated a whole lot of it? These fisheries seem to, well, not to produce anything. Almost anything. What's the word on the gatherer? Well, the gatherers are still producing food without too much of an issue. Maybe a bit less. Yeah, more dying of starvation and more dying of starvation, and it's like the food is going into thin air. Or maybe it's just that my fishermen are not producing any. Which seems to be the case. I'm not sure why is it so bad. I mean, could it be just down to the tools that instead of producing 1000 fish, they're producing barely 300? I mean, that sounds a bit far-fetched. That just not having a tool would cut down their productivity by more than 70%. And still so little food. Well, yeah, there's just simply not enough of it being produced. Still dying of starvation, still dying of starvation, still dying of starvation. I didn't notice I lost that blacksmith. So can I take another woodcutter to get a blacksmith? Screw the fishermen, let's go with the gatherers, the hunters. But yeah, like you saw, from 80 down to what was it, 50, and then I got the children got turned back to adults all at the same time, maybe because the teacher died, probably that's what happened. Then I was at 68 and now I'm at 35, and they're just gonna keep dying of starvation even though they're pretty much all producing the food. And like I said, that seems to be a trend that happens almost to everybody who plays this game. I'm not even sure how does that work. Yeah, the fishery is pretty much a waste of workers, even though they used to produce quite nice amounts. Do I have maybe too many homes that too many villagers are at, and then they're taking food to each home while there is only one person in each home? Well, I don't know, I mean, there are homes. There's actually quite a few homes with only one person living in there. So it's possible that that's the issue. They're taking the food to fill up their home, and then the other guys don't have any food. So instead of two people living in one house and bringing food to it, there's one house with one person, and that one person takes the food to each of their own houses, and then the other people do not have any food to take their own houses. So it's possible that that's where the domino effect hits the most. That the people living alone still stock their homes with a lot of food. So if you have a lot of homes with one person in them, stocking it to the roof with food, then you're quickly running out of food even though you're producing it. Well, I'm not even sure where to go from here. I'm down to 34 adults from 80. Well, I guess I can try and move on from here, see where this leads me. Anyway, I think this is the end of this episode. So remember, the giveaway for the best story is open for a few more days. And remember to add a comment whether or not you want me to show you how I built that Orchard Village, or do you want me to just continue from the place that I showed you that I'm at. Anyway, that will be all for this episode. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.